Okay, why don't we go ahead and get started. Hi, everyone. Welcome to today's event. I'm Laura Dillon from MS Dynamics World, and we're here today for a session that explores the question, are you still writing Dynamics 365 CRM documentation by hand? And we're going to be presented with an efficient alternative. Our presenter today is Michael Olsen with ClickLearn, and it's great to have him here with us today. So as we get started, please know we do welcome your questions. You can enter them in at any time during the presentation in the Q&A box that you'll see over on the right side of your event window. And I know that Michael will be leaving some time at the end to get to as many of those as they can. Also, if you look in the chat window, I'm going to place a link to a PDF, a product sheet that you can download if you're interested in that. You can do that at any time as well. And without any further delay, I'm just going to hand things off to Michael to get us started.
Thanks very much, Laura, and welcome everyone for today's webinar. I'm going to give you an overview of the ClickLearn solution for Dynamics 365 CRM, and I'm going to give you a general overview of the solution from start till end. And in this session, I will basically start by showing you some of the end results that you are going to get if you use the ClickLearn solution. The goal is, of course, that you can provide the best of breed of documentation and learning material to the end users of the CRM solution. Now, I'm not going to go totally in details about the technical aspect about this, but within the CRM solution, you typically have a standard documentation available for how to work with the CRM system. But it's also possible to put in a customized address in CRM that allows your users to go into help and then hit a specific address that holds your customized help solution. Now, what you will see on screen here is a final production from ClickLearn that provides a full learning portal for the CRM users. Within this learning portal, the users are able to navigate easily into different areas within the solution. They can also go and search freely for any kind of word within the documentation to find the right walkthrough or information that they are looking for. And one of the benefits of using ClickLearn is not only just to write in the instructions on what it means to have an account or a name or a telephone number, but also really the walkthroughs and getting that content up in a structured format is very crucial to any kind of documentation or learning material. An example here is if we go into account management, we have a sample walkthrough here called Validate Account Information. And when we look at that, you will see some of the content that ClickLearn will easily help you create and maintain. This content will show you a step-by-step guide into how to validate the account information. Now, the user can easily read this online as it was completely embedded within CRM. Every single step will have a text available, and it will also have a thumbnail image from the live application itself. So the written instructions are basically here a web page beautifully styled according to any kind of corporate template that you desire with your own logo, own coloring, and own setup of how everything should look. The important thing is that everything is well structured so that every single walkthrough will have the same look and feel. Now, when we talk about learning and not just documentation, it becomes crucial that the end user has the ability to choose their own learning style. So instead of just providing what most people are looking for in documentation, a Word document, we really want to be online to get the content. And the HTML document for the documentation purposes is, of course, an example of that. But for all the learning styles, it might be something completely different. An example of that is PowerPoint. PowerPoint is a different kind of media that is well suited for classroom training. And ClickLearn will also provide this for users to access if needed. And it will contain the same content as you see on this web page, but apart from that, the cropped images are not cropped anymore. They are the full desktop images, including the instructions underneath. The beauty of this, which you will see in a couple of minutes, is that you do not need to have an additional session as an author to provide this document. This is done in one go, and it will provide both the HTML documentation and the PowerPoint slides. Even more interestingly, it is with video content. Now, many doesn't provide the video content today because it's very time-consuming to create, first of all, and almost impossible to maintain. With ClickLearn, from the same recording that you can do, it will also provide the videos, well-structured, without any fumbling around with the mouse, any unnatural pauses, and it will even automatically add narration to the video content for you using natural sounding digital voices. And even further, it will also provide the video in 3 different styles: a show me video, a try me video, and a test me video, which means that the user can access these videos on any device, in any browser, at any given time, and watch it, and it doesn't require any specific video codec, doesn't require any specific player. It will simply just run within the browser. I'm just going to show you a couple of seconds from the Show Me video so that you can watch and listen to the narration that has automatically been generated from the ClickLearn solution.
Objective.
Every 6 months, you must validate the name and address information of your key accounts. This procedure explains what fields must be validated as a minimum.
Steps.
In this example, you select an account from the View Active Accounts.
Click on the navigation button, Sales. Click on the navigation area, Sales.
I'm just going to pause it here so that I can just explain a little bit about what I initially said before I started the video. So every single step within the step-by-step walkthrough will be transformed into a video. The video cursor will show exactly what the user needs to do without fumbling around with the mouse. It will automatically subtitle every single instruction, and it will, of course, narrate it according to the voice that you select when you produce your content. So this is really what we're aiming at with the ClickLearn solution, giving you an easy way of creating, extending, and maintaining the walkthroughs that you need for the CRM system. Now I'm going to wait a little bit with the Try Me and the Test Me video, so you will see them a bit later on. But apart from documentation and training material, there's also a lot of talk today about onboarding people. Some people say that onboarding is simply just, the new breed of documentation and training material. I would disagree a little bit about that because I think it's important that people get the opportunity to be trained before getting hands-on a system. But on the other hand, onboarding is a very powerful tool that can help the user perform the task at hand without being trained beforehand. Typically for different processes that you don't do every day, but you do once a month or once every 6 months, whatever it might be. And you need to be ensured that you follow it correctly step by step. And ClickLearn is also able to provide that solution for you. This is called a ClickLearn Assist, and it comes from the same source as we get the documentation and training material from. The user then has the ability from within the learning portal here to activate the assistant. This will basically have the help go back to the live tab with the CRM running and provide the on-screen guidance to the user instantly. The user needs to read the notes that are important to them and advance to the next step themselves. Then it will start telling them what they need to do. And this is done live on top of the CRM system. So when the user follows this guide, they will really perform the action, so it's no longer a video, it is live in the system. So the list of accounts will come. They can choose the account that they want to validate. There will come an additional note that I need to read, and then it will start guiding me through the fields. Now, an important note for this here is that when we talk about supporting the CRM system, ClickLearn will handle not only, of course, the standard part of the CRM system, but of course all the customizations that may be within the current solution. So any kind of additional solutions will be supported in the exact same way. Now I'm just going to end the live assistant here and go to the next part of our session here and show you how we in fact are able to create this well-structured documentation, learning material, and on-screen guidance to the end user. I'm going to start completely from the top and start with the ClickLearn solution. It is called ClickLearn Studio. It allows you very easily to record new walkthroughs, edit them, and produce the content. Now to install ClickLearn Studio, this is a simple click once installation that you do on the author's PC. I've already done this, so I have it available. The next thing that are important is that you start up your CRM system. Now I will just go into the CRM system here. I have an online version of that. So we are logged into the CRM system now. And then, as an author, I will solely focus on the knowledge I have about a process within the system. Now for this webinar, I'll do the exact same thing as you saw just before so that you can see one-to-one how did we get to that end result. Having that running, the CRM system, I will now take the ClickLearn Studio solution and I want to record a new walkthrough. Now, for your invite for this webinar, it also states that the webinar is for the CRM part that we support, but ClickLearn is not only intended for Microsoft CRM. We support a huge range of different solutions in the market and a lot that comes from Microsoft Dynamics. So Microsoft CRM, Business Central, Finance and Operations, GP, AX 2012, NAV versions, and so forth. So ClickLearn is basically a uniform way of creating such learning material on multiple platforms. And we can go across application boundaries if needed. Now we'll focus on the CRM, so I'll just do a new recording. And it's very non-technical for the author to do this. They need to choose the recording language that they are working with. Then they need to know that they need to wait for a green rectangle to appear. But these are very small things that they need to learn initially. Then ClickLearn will be hidden and we will focus solely on doing the process within the CRM system. You can now see the green rectangle appearing when I hover the mouse over the sales drop-down button here. I will click on it, and ClickLearn will record that action when the green rectangle is available. It will not record when I move the mouse around like this here, which a normal video recorder would do, only the actions that I really perform. We'll go into accounts, and we'll take our accounts and click on the link, and we're now in the account form. It will recognize the different fields that we have here. I'll just take a couple of the fields here to show you how easily that we capture the step-by-step walkthrough here through the application, starting with the navigation, getting into the form, and going through the fields that we want to work with. When we're done with our recording session, we press the 2 control keys on the keyboard, and ClickLearn will reappear, and we can now save the recording. So we could call it Edit Accounts and save it on our OneDrive, on our network drive, wherever we need to, like saving a Word document. Now, once this has been saved, the core knowledge from the author's perspective has been captured. And we can, of course, advance to the next step, and that is to edit this, add additional knowledge, instructions to the user, chapterize the walkthrough, whatever we need to do. I'll refrain from doing that right now and return to the editor in a couple of minutes, because we can skip that for now and simply go and produce the content. This is where all the magic happens, that once we have the knowledge captured, ClickLearn can transform this into all of the learning styles that we are looking for. So you can see button right now, it is now producing the content. And when it's done, it will inform me, and I will now have access in the View menu to a web page, a Word, PDF document, so 3 different flavors for the written instructions, the PowerPoint slides for the classroom trainings, and the video content for the 24/7 learning online. Now, looking into the Word document, I spoke a little bit about the templating behind ClickLearn. And that also allows you to have a full template control over how the Word template should be for the final instructions. Completely controlling the setup of the Word document with headers and footers, and then ClickLearn will add the content to this Word template. Now, what you also notice from this is that ClickLearn writes the instructions for you. It says click on the navigation button Sales. A part of this instruction comes from our templating system, and another part has been captured from the CRM system itself. This ensures that no matter which author, how many authors does all of these walkthroughs, they will write in a uniform way, allowing you to be well structured in everything that you provide. Now, the image on the right-hand side is a cropped image of the full desktop image captured by ClickLearn. The template can control the size of this. This basically ensures that no matter how the author thinks about this, some thinks about getting very small images, others just getting full screenshots at all times. Now it's not up to the author anymore, but for the one that controls the template, how everything should look and feel. Now it also highlights within the cropped image where the user needs to perform the action, so it's very well aligned throughout the entire instruction. So a couple of minutes capturing the knowledge using the recorder, very efficient production, and you will have exactly what you saw a part of before as a single walkthrough. So the web page is equal to the Word document and the PDF. From the web page, we have the link to all the different video flavors. And if we try and start the Try Me video here, you will see the different style of a try me video compared to the show me video I showed you just before. Now, the try me video brings another level of learning from video content. It's an interactive video, which means instead of just watching, the user really needs to interact with the video content, but they don't require an access to the CRM system. When the user starts the video,
Click on the navigation button, Sales.
it will narrate what I need to do, it will highlight it, but it will pause the video until I, as a user, really perform the task. So for sandbox training, without live access to the system, this is a beautiful video format to work with.
Click on the navigation item Accounts.
Now, and in the production here, I've also chosen to take a different female US English voice to narrate the video content.
Click on the link and cell, Account Name.
Now, the final video flavor here is the Test Me video. The Test Me video is a real learning video. It's like the Try Me video, but it will not show me where I need to perform the action. It is fully SCORM compliant, so if you want to upload it to a learning management system, ClickLearn will be able to report back to the learning management system how well I perform as a user in performing this walkthrough.
Click on the navigation button, Sales.
So as a user, I need to know what to do in order to
Click on the
advance.
navigation item Accounts.
And your template can control how many attempts that the user may have before failing to be scored correctly for a given step. Now, my template is set up so that I have 5 attempts. So if I misclick 5 times within the video, it will score it as being incorrect, then show me and teach me where it is, and I can continue in my test.
Click on the link and cell, Account Name.
So I'll just
Click on
complete
the field Account Name.
the steps here.
Click on the field Phone.
And you can now see how the evaluation of the test is finalized. So all of this information can be delivered back to the learning management system so that you can gain insight into who has performed the test video and how well they performed. And the template can, of course, control how many percentages that you need to score before you pass the test. So comparing to what you saw in the beginning, this shows you how you can take any kind of process within the CRM system, record it, and produce it. So if you're good at recording it without doing any mistakes, you will get very fast results using ClickLearn and get a very nice outcome from the production. Now, as an author, let's look at how the built-in editor works for you. Now, instead of thinking about saying, okay, I've got a produced Word document, so now I need to change the Word document. Afterwards, I need to go and modify the PowerPoint slides, and then I need to after edit the video. This is not the case with ClickLearn. You have a one-tool solution where you can, in one go, edit, extend, modify the walkthrough, and afterwards you can simply just reproduce to update all the documents that ClickLearn can produce. So let me give you a couple of examples on this. First of all, on the left-hand side, you have all the recorded steps. And on the right-hand side, you have a preview of the produced web page. You can then add your chapterization. So we can call the chapter objective. So this will become a real heading 1 in the Word document. so that it will build up the table of content. But in the video, it will also allow you to jump in the video according to the chapterization. It will also do a fade in, fade out, so that the user knows when we're shifting throughout the walkthrough that they watch. Explaining something to users are quite important. This is like writing a paragraph of text in a Word document, but in ClickLearn, the note that we insert here works in all of the documents that are being produced. So you write the text that you want in the language that you're focusing on, and just bear in mind that if you're looking into providing your content in multiple languages, I will cover this also in a short while. Just let me show you from within the editor how we can do this while editing in one language. You can click on this icon here whenever available. That will allow you to work with multiple languages, take the text that you provide in one language, and then provide it in any other language that you want to support. We even have links so that you can use Microsoft Azure Translation Services to provide the initial translation of what it is that you're providing. In this case, the text that we've given here will now initially be translated into a lot of other languages. Another very nice thing about this is that the auto narration that you get in the video content is not only for the standard steps within your walkthrough. This also covers the text that you provide here. And we can even listen to this while editing our content.
This is how you should edit an account.
So it will narrate this so that I can listen to how this will sound in the final production. So we have the chapter, we have the note added, and we can add another chapter here, and we can call that steps. And then we can focus on what it is that we have recorded so far. We have recorded some navigation. We have recorded that we are selecting an account, and then we're in the account form where we have only 2 fields right now. Now let's assume that the author that did the initial recording forgot to get some very important fields in, or you have a standard recording done, but you need to get some customized fields into the current walkthrough. Now instead of starting all over again, you can basically achieve this from within the editor. If you go back to your CRM system, navigate into the same account, into the same form, you can continue recording from any given point in time. And I'll do that right here by right-clicking on a step here and say Record New Steps. This allows you now to focus on adding additional steps to the recording. And when you're done, you simply just press the 2 control keys again, and it will add this to the recording instantly. Now, if you want to change the sequence of the fields, you can basically do that, and you can do that by standard copy, cut, and paste. So I can cut the phone number and position myself where I want it, and then paste it in to get it in the sequence that I want. Another great thing is to focus on the look and feel of the final instruction. Typically, when you have a number of fields that are required fields or optional fields that the user needs to focus on, the standard step-by-step by ClickLearn will, of course, be individual steps with their individual screenshots. This can easily be combined by selecting multiple steps on the left-hand side and then grouping it together as a numbered list of steps or a bulleted list, Having ClickLearn crop this to the group automatically and simply click OK, this will combine 3 steps into a single step, a grouping with 1 image, and then a list of things to perform within the task at hand. So you don't have a lot of functionality like you do in Microsoft Word in terms of changing a lot of font styles and italic and underline, because we want to ensure that the look and feel is equal for all authors in the final production. But you have very powerful, very efficient ways of providing the instructions to the end user. Saving this allows us now easily to reproduce the content according to the modifications that we've done. I'm not going to click on produce right now. Trust me, this will work out of the box. What I want to focus on now is how do I actually go to the endpoint of providing the full learning portal that I showed you inside of the CRM system. Now, the learning portal itself is built up by every individual walkthrough that you may have recorded. How to create a quote, how to do a marketing list, how to edit an account. Now, to bring this together into the different areas that you saw in the learning portal, ClickLearn allows you easily to work with books and shelves. A book is like a user manual or an area that consists of multiple walkthroughs. And a shelf is a full learning portal that consists of multiple areas or books. So creating a book allows me to do, for example, for account management, my own book structure that controls in sequence what are the walkthroughs within this area. Create new account, validate account, create a sales order, both domestic and international. If I want to add a new walkthrough, I simply drag it over to the book structure and it will be added. I can save this. I won't do that right now. But once I've saved the book structure, I will have the ability to produce a small learning portal only for account management simply by clicking the produce button like I did on the individual walkthrough. Now for the full corporate learning portal, so to speak, I can do my CRM learning portal and I can choose from all the books that I have available to build up the entire portal in the exact same way, simply taking and dragging over the books that I want to be part of the final learning portal. And then, in the same way as on the book level, I can produce the shelf in one go, never forgetting a new walkthrough or changes in the book structures that I have defined. When we've done that, we have one single PDF document that will provide everything within the learning portal, including the table of content for every single book, every single walkthrough, and every single chapter that are within those. And then we have, of course, the content at hand. The produced web page for a shelf is, as you saw within the CRM system, a complete learning portal where we have the navigation into the book account management, validate account information, and we have the individual walkthrough with all the links available. So the final thing is, of course, if you desire, is to get it inside the CRM system. Now, the way that this is done is to have what we call an inside help project for CRM. Now, the interesting part about the inside CRM help system here is that we can connect to the CRM system, and this will allow us to connect to the metadata behind the CRM system that you're operating on, which means that we get the intel about any kind of custom entity you have, any kind of custom form you have, and any kind of solution that are available within the CRM system. Now, apart from the ClickLearn content that I've just shown you, this gives you the ability to go in and create automated documentation on the entire account entity. And by that, it really means that from the metadata behind the CRM system, we can provide this documentation to the end user in multiple languages for any kind of entity, any kind of field, any kind of form within the system. Now, within the account form itself, we also have the ability not to rely on the metadata, but really for you to provide the documentation you want the end user to see. So I have done an example here for the website field that tells the user that it is important that you provide this information always. Which means no matter if this is a customized field or a change field within the CRM system, you can provide the documentation. Now, to finalize all of this, we can also add any kind of produced content from within ClickLearn. That can be any kind of book that you have defined or any kind of shelf. So if you wanted the entire CRM learning portal to be embedded in the CRM help learning portal, we could simply drag this into the system here. Now, this is just to give you an idea about how this is done. So once we have that done, we simply produce the CRM help. Now, we're living in an online world, so how on earth do we get it into the CRM system? Well, basically, you could decide to host this yourself on your own server. But you can also let ClickLearn host this for you. And we do that in the cloud using Microsoft Azure. Now, when we click on Help here, it simply goes to a URL called content.clicklearn.dk with a public content of this. This can be locked down so that it is private using single sign-on, Office 365 or Azure AD, so that you are ensured that it is locked down to the customer or you to handle who gets access to this content. Now, from within the ClickLearn Studio solution, we then simply allow you easily to publish this into the cloud so that you have this link available. And then the user simply just gets this learning portal from within the CRM system. Now, before ending with multiple languages and how to handle that, the most important message has been covered now in terms of how to create, edit, and maintain the walkthroughs and providing this and publishing this and getting it into the CRM system. But how about getting the inside back, the intel about how users are, consuming this learning material? This is quite interesting because when we look at the learning portal that has been produced here, you will have the option and the ability through the ClickLearn templating system to decide that you want to track and allow the user to provide feedback on your content. So on any given level here, the user can rate your content and provide comments and submit that. When they navigate, search, watch a video, or use the live assistant, ClickLearn will also track it. This allows you, if you host it here, you can even get access to the data if you don't want to use the ClickLearn part, but using the way that we publish and provide the cloud services for you, you can go into your cloud portal and look into a dashboard. Now this dashboard will basically present you with all the intel behind your learning portal. Where are the users located that are using your learning portal? How many page views do you get? How many downloads the PDF? Watches the Show Me video? Or uses the assistant? What are the top books that they are reading? How do they rate the content? And what kind of feedback do you get from your users? This allows you to react on this, improve the content, and find out where people are struggling to find learning to master the CRM system. Now, when we look in the learning portal itself here, I want to cover a final thing before we look into multiple languages. Now, when we talk about all the entities and forms that are available, if you do an Inside Help project, as I stated that you can do here, you can see that everything is nicely combined into a ClickLearn learning portal. When we do the Inside Help learning portal, it also adds 2 additional books that I don't put in myself, one for forms and one for entities. When I go into the book forms, I will get the information that there are documentation available for the account form. And there you see what I added as specific documentation for the website attribute on the account form. If I go to entities, I have done automated documentation on the account entity, which means that every single thing that I've chosen to take there will be listed. If I go back to entities and take it on contact, it will list everything from the contact entity that comes from the metadata in your CRM system. Provided, without you writing one line of documentation, it now shows that the account is a unique identifier and it specifies a lookup related to the entity account. If we look on address type, it shows that it's an address type, which is an option, with these available options. Now, if we go into the walkthrough that we did with ClickLearn, a very important information here is that when we build the Inside Help, it automatically auto-references between your walkthrough and any given form, entity, and field that you have touched within your walkthrough. So from this, I now have a reference back to the account form and the account entity. Going to the account form, it will list the information at hand, and it will also do an auto-reference back to the walkthroughs that I may have that touches the website field. So it's all aligned automatically for you. Now, the final couple of minutes here before we go to the Q&A is about handling multiple languages. And how can we do that? Well, let's go back to our edit customer or edit account here. Now, you've seen that I did everything in English. Now, within ClickLearn, we can easily go and change this to a different language, German, French, Spanish, whatever. If I go to German, it has already, because we did that when we made our notes, translated that into German. Most of our standard instructions has been translated, but something is missing to get it 100% into a German language. Now, ClickLearn can handle this for us, and it is something that can be done very fast and very efficient. And it also gives you an idea about how you can easily maintain, do quality assurance and automated process testing with ClickLearn as well. So I'm going in the last couple of minutes a little bit technical here, but I'll just show you some of the very technical features that is also available in ClickLearn. When we select data within the CRM system, it basically captures all the information available. And this allows you to control, in this example, according, for example, only to name what kind of account should it really focus on. So even if you change database on your CRM system, we can control before we do an update of the documentation what it should really focus on. Then, as a second part, we can translate an entire walkthrough in one single go instead of going each and every step through, and we're using the Azure Translation Services for this as well. So taking one or more walkthroughs allows me to translate from one language to another one. Now, how do we get all the German screenshots? How do we do a quality assurance and update of our CRM system in a different language? Well, let me just show you this by signing in here. And let's just take one change in the CRM system. And that is on my user profile to go into options and change the language layer of CRM. You need, of course, in CRM to have that language layer available. If I choose to do this with the German language layer, you will see that everything now changes within the CRM system. But instead of having to go through every single walkthrough again to re-record this in a separate recording, ClickLearn can do this automatically by doing a replay. The replay allows me in the single source recording automatically to replay this. I'm not controlling mouse and keyboard now. It will automatically perform the same task I did in the English system, and at the same time capture all captions and screenshots now from the German system. When it completes without any errors, it has made a quality assurance and at the same time updated everything in my recording. So now I have two language layers available, both the English one and the German one. And I can produce both languages at the same time now, including the video content. So if I take the video content of this one here, it will have everything in that language. And it will, of course, narrate with a German voice.
Ziel. Dies ist, wie sie ein Konto bearbeiten sollte. Schritte.
And I'm just going to stop it here So hopefully this has given you a good overview of how easily ClickLearn can help you create, edit, and maintain the documentation and learning material onboarding for Microsoft CRM. So I would say this is a good time, Laura, that we go to the Q&A. So hopefully there's a number of questions for me.
Yes, there are. Excellent. Thank you, Michael. Yeah, so I'll just start reading these off to you. One question came in that says, do you support custom written web pages as well?
Yes, we do. Now, we cannot guarantee that you get this 100% the same experience as you do on the CRM. What we do at ClickLearn here is that we do, very specific connectors for the major systems that we get involved in, which means that we know the CRM system in depth. Now, on any kind of web page that are to us generic, we will have a generic connector. If the web page is well designed, you will get the same experience as you do on the CRM system. If it is a very large installment base that you have on that custom web solution, we might need to talk about this to see if we should help you support it better than just generic. But in the generic way, we will be able to record, edit, and produce in the exact same way as we've done on the CRM system. So I hope that answers the question.
Thanks. So here's a question. I'm curious if the ClickLearn utility is compatible with the new D365 unified interface. Also, is ClickLearn compatible with D365 apps for Outlook?
We are currently looking into how many differences there are on the unified interface. So let me tell you what we support currently on the CRM that I can say for now, and that is the version 2015, the version 8 and version 9, on-prem and in the cloud, of course. But we will, of course, continue our investment in supporting the various client versions that are web-based for the Dynamics 365 range.
Great. Can ClickLearn automatically recreate screenshots on previous guides? For instance, if I add a new field to the account form, can it automatically go back and regenerate the screenshot with that new field?
Exactly, and hopefully the example I did with the different language here answers that question. So without taking the language layer at hand, the replay will do exactly what you're looking for. So you get the updated part, and you also get the quality assurance at the same time that the process is valid on the system that you are replaying on.
I think these have been answered, but they came in, ClickLearn works with on-premise.
Correct.
It does, right?
Works with the on-prem version as well.
Excellent, and you just addressed the versions of CRM. Let's see, can the studio be shown in different languages as well, or just English?
We only provide the ClickLearn Studio solution in English.
Okay, let's see. Here's a question. Can I record processes that take me outside CRM?
And the answer is yes, you can. So the way it works with ClickLearn here is if I start recording on any kind of application, for example, the CRM here, it of course shows me when the green rectangle appears. You can see in the top right corner that it shows the CRM icon. So that will be recorded as before. If I go outside of that for any kind of process, you can see the green rectangle again appears. If I go into Windows, it shows the Windows icon. So depending on the different connectors that you have for ClickLearn, it will basically cover that in one go, and it will automatically sense if I'm changing application. So if I go into Microsoft Word, for example, and go into blank documents and start going in here, it will of course cover that even if I go to that one. As long as the application is responsive to a connector that ClickLearn holds, it will be able to follow you from start to end. Now, a side note to this here is, of course, when you think about the on-screen assistance that I showed you inside of CRM, we need to be careful about how much we're going to mix from various applications. But thinking about an online world with Dynamics 365, Office 365 inside the browser, you know, in theory, ClickLearn would be able to cover all of these applications and have the user seamlessly go back and forth between the different application areas.
Great. Let's see. Do you want to take pricing questions online, or do you want to handle those after this call individually?
I would very much have that done afterwards, as I am not part of the sales team, so I will not be the right person to address the questions about that. You know, one thing that I could end up saying here, because you know, this is a webinar for you as service provider, VAR, whatever it might be. And the thing about ClickLearn is, in terms of licensing, that I at least can cover, is that we have two types of ClickLearn licenses. We have a corporate license, and we have a license for a service provider. As a service provider, it allows you to operate with ClickLearn, create everything that I've shown you today, and freely distribute the content to your customers. If the customer is large enough or wants to, or you want them to do their own walkthroughs on top of what you provide, then they can purchase a corporate edition as well. So it's a nice mix of both worlds that gives you a lot of opportunities to work with the solution.
Great. Well, I think we are running out of time here, so thank you very much for that information. This was a great, really informative demo. We did record today's session, and we'll be making that available to everyone within the next day or so. And that concludes today's event. As you exit the event, please be on the lookout for a very brief survey that will pop up. The feedback does help us here at MS Dynamics World and also helps our presenters, so thanks for taking a minute or two to do that. If you did put in a question and we didn't get to it, I will make sure that our ClickLearn folks will have access to all of the questions that were raised, and they will be in touch with you directly after this session. So thank you very much, Michael. Thanks to all the attendees, and have a great day, everyone.
Yeah, thanks as well.